Alright, I'm pretty new to this whole cooking thing, but there is one thing I usually like to do before I start when I'm cooking. Just give me a moment. Alright, so that's the initial setup done. It's about 10 seconds in and my PC is already vibrating violently. Well, it was about 10 seconds for you, but it was about half an hour for me. Anyway, let's do some cooking! So I'm gonna be making one of my own recipes, you know, made it myself. First we need a plate, because what can you do without a plate? You need something to, oh, just ignore that. You need something to put the food on. Then what I like to do is get a top burger bun, you know, essential. And then you put it in the middle of the plate, so it looks like a tit. Of course then we need some pumpkins. Just got to cut that up. I like to do it in thin slices, you know. Thin, even slices. Like so. Knife, you don't need it anymore. And now we take the pumpkin and we put it into the food processor container. Oh, never mind, can't do that. Just put it in here instead. But that wasn't long enough. That's better, it should have about enough time to cook now. Anyway, while that's cooking, I should probably wash my hands, even though I've touched like thousands of pieces of food already. I had to leave it running for a little bit because it wasn't heating up. All 322 litres of it. Can't forget to use the soap, of course. I don't know how to get it on my hand. Oh well, we can just skip that step, it's not really necessary anyway. Alright, I think it's about time the initial setup comes into play. So what I like to do is get a little bit of lime juice and just season that with the... Oh, close enough. Guess I'll just... Yeah, that'll do. And then we get our chopping board from earlier, just ignore the pumpkin on there, it doesn't really affect the cooking process. And then we sort of, we do this. Yeah, something like that. That sort of tenderizes the cheese. And then we need this bucket right here. And this is a very important step. Basically, we need a bucket of cheese. And the recipe doesn't work without it, so, you know, it's required. Oh my god. Oh, for fuck's sake! Alright, so we actually don't need the bucket of cheese. That was a misprint on the recipe, so I'll just get rid of that. We're just going to want to check on our pumpkin real quick. It's almost done. It's got about 14 minutes left. You really can't take it out early or late, it just ruins the whole dish. One of the easiest ways to make sure your pumpkin is done properly is to get a firecracker. And you just put that into the microwave with it. Trust me on this one. Yeah, like that. Then you just... So the pumpkin's just about done. You can tell by the fact it's an incomprehensible black shape. It's a little bit hot to pick up, but you know, in the cooking world, there's a way to do everything. So once your pumpkin looks like a birthday cake of death, you're about ready to get it out. So we just get our special tool here. Oh, shit, it didn't work. So the recipe actually just says to wait for the pumpkin to cool down, so I guess I'll just... Oh. Once your fire is dealt with, you just want to go and check on your cheese, just in case it's melted, because if it's all melted, you have to do the first initial stage all over again. My cheese seems to be alright though, so we're all good in that regard. Speaking of cheese, the next stage actually involves the cheese. Using the same tool earlier that we used for the pumpkin, we just want to... There may be a little fire, but you know the cheese is cooked right when it's like... when that happens. Cooking this dish can sometimes lead to a slight mess in the kitchen, but don't worry, it's nothing too bad to clean up. Now our cheese is cooked, we just need this bucket over here. with a bit of cheddar in it already. And we need to put a little bit more cheddar into this bucket, just a little bit. You don't want to overdo it. Back to the main part of the dish now. You just want to make sure that your bucket of cheddar is precariously balanced on the edge. It just gives it a bit more flavour when the cheese is in fear. First thing that you want to do with your cheddar is just put it on the plate with the top burger bun. It doesn't matter if it falls over. This part is very important. That should just about do it. The next thing you're going to need is actually barbecue sauce. It may sound weird, but yeah, you need about the whole bottle, I'd say. Just gives it that bit of flavour. There we go, just a bit of that. This is part of the recipe, by the way. Enhances the food. So after you've extinguished the dish, we're going to want to go on to the more fancy food items. We've got the trout. Need a couple of those. So these are all the ingredients. You can kind of just eyeball the amounts. It doesn't really matter too much. Now the most important of these ingredients is actually the chicken broth. You want to get about 1 litre on there. There we go. Oh look, our pumpkin is just about ready to pick up. Time to add it to the dish. And then once you've got the pumpkin on there, you want to start adding all of these other ingredients. Alright, looking good. I think it's about time to serve it. Hopefully they don't mind that all the meat is raw and 90% of it fell off. Alright, apparently I can't serve the dish. I don't think the game likes my dish very much. Oh well. Clearly it's just bad taste, because this looks delicious in my opinion, with that 3 millilitres of chicken broth on that piece of cheddar. And just look at all this effort I went through to make it. Just for the game to be a picky eater. You just can't win in the cooking world.